you can see is Newcastle defenders. So it's just them getting caught. It's just being flat-footed. One person moving, which is Nico O'Reilly, and Kieran Trippier just a little tiny bit lost. And again, small margins, and they're just punished for it.
Yeah, the first half was, some might say, absorbing. Captivating. We'd expected plenty more goals because the first half was an all-action affair.
Yeah, I thought there would have been more goals in the second half. I thought it would be very similar to the first half, where it was really open. City created chances. Newcastle definitely created chances with the way they played, with the way Gordon was up front and Alanga was using his pace on that right-hand side. And that's the way I thought it would have happened again in the second half, but it wasn't to be. City defended well. They didn't give Newcastle the space to run into like they did in that second half, which then meant they weren't that much of a threat themselves, Manchester City. But as we've said, it wasn't about a performance for them tonight. It was about getting 3 points by hook or by crook and then putting the pressure right back onto Arsenal.
Completing their great record against Newcastle. That continued tonight. 17 wins in a row at the Etihad against the Magpies. Let's hear post-match reaction from their manager. Here's Eddie Howe.
Eddie, I know you're never happy after a defeat, but you can still be proud of your players, can't you?
Yeah, considering everything that we've put into the last few weeks, that was a big effort, physically, mentally. That was a good performance. Wasn't good enough. And Manchester City make it very difficult for you, but I thought we went toe-to-toe with them. I thought we were going strong at the end and can't fault the players.
And was that the plan from the start?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we had our way of setting up today, and we wanted to play our normal way. We wanted to try and really test ourselves and show our strengths, and I thought we did. I thought we were equals in the game. We were well in it. We attacked well without probably having the cutting edge that we needed to create the level of chances that maybe our territory warranted. Didn't defend the two goals well enough at all. That's the big disappointment from the game, really.
It's been 2 weeks where we seem to have seen the belief in your squad really come to the fore.
Yeah, I think whenever you come here, you're really tested in that way. You have to be really strong mentally. You have to believe you're good enough to win. I felt that belief was there right to the end. I mean, Harvey's had the shot and Donnarumma's made an incredible save. And when you consider the physical exertions that we've had in the last few weeks, that's a big testament to the group. And
you said this week that, OK, results over the years have never gone well here, but every time you play City, you learn something from it. What do you think you'll take from today?
Well, the 2 goals that we conceded were disappointing because we felt we've made individual errors that's cost us those goals. And I think you never quite know how the game would pan out, but I think, and it's important we start better here. I think that we conceded early. Several occasions, it's made our task even harder than it needed to be.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Guy.
Eddie Howe's post-match reaction, pretty similar to what you said.
I think he was listening to us, I think, Jules.
Must have been, because he said lacked cutting edge made some defensive mistakes. Is that how you sum it up?
That's been the frustrating thing. I think when you consider what Newcastle have been through, the 3 away games before this evening, the travel they had to make on Wednesday evening to get back and then come back into this game. I thought they played really well, but it was the small margins that made the difference. And the small margins were that they didn't perhaps put as much pressure on them in the second half, and particularly with the 2 goals they conceded defensively. That's what's been the difference tonight, and that's how they've been punished.
I also think they're missing a number 9 at the moment. I know Anthony Gordon can play a number 9, and he scored goals midweek. I understand that. But Voldemort was brought in as a number 9. He's not playing as a number 9, and that's an issue. This is injured constantly as a number 9, and that's an issue. And he brings a Sula on. So they had lots of possession. But the fact that they didn't have cutting edges, Eddie Howe mentioned, is because Voltemade and Visser are not working as a number 9. So it's something they're going to have to address. Yes, they'll score goals. They've got pace. Gordon, Barnes, Alanga's slightly disappointing, but is starting to find his feet. They will score goals. But in games like this, when you're playing against the very best, you need a number 9.
You're in agreement?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think clearly Voltemade is an issue for Newcastle because the money they spent on him near enough 70 million. And them deciding then to play Gordon as a centre forward tells you he hasn't quite been what they thought he could be in that position. So they're trying to work out what's best for him. Is he a 10? Probably not. They're trying then play him in more of a midfield role. Well, you see that he can't press because he hasn't got the legs, he hasn't got the energy to do what Eddie Howe's teams have done, which has made Newcastle successful over the years. You saw that with that second goal, was when he goes to press, he was beaten far too easily. So he is an issue for Newcastle.
And are they trying to, as you were mentioning, and Eddie Howe talked in the beginning about the fluidity up front and trying some different things, simply because they did spend so much money on that forward line?
Yeah, because, look, it was always going to be a very difficult situation because of the Isak situation, because of what he did and what happened. And it hasn't worked well for anyone. It hasn't worked well for Isak. It certainly hasn't worked well for Liverpool with him. And from my point of view and from Newcastle's point of view, it certainly didn't help them because they were forced into paying, I think, far too much money for two forwards in Voldemort. It was a lot of money for him and a lot of money for Visser, roughly around 125 million on those two. And they're still working out or figuring out how to get the best from Voldemort because his game, his stature, his pace of play is not suited to what Newcastle have done in being successful under Eddie Howe with the energy. Because when Newcastle were at their very best, Newcastle were going after teams and pressing and not giving them any energy, not any time to play whatsoever. Yet he can't do that. And that tells you that he's playing a winger in the centre forward position, that he has an issue in there.
He's playing he played today, because the way Manchester City play and dominate at times, he played as Tonali's partner. Well, that's not his role. That's not a 10. That's an 8 or a 6 in number terms nowadays. That's a centre midfielder. He's not mobile enough. Shake of the shoulders, and he can't keep up with the players like Semenya shows for the second goal. So if Bruno does come back, where are you going to put him? That's why Al said it's a problem, because you put him as a 9 and then drop Gordon, or put him wide, and then you've got a problem with Harvey Barnes or Elanga. So it's an issue at the moment that is fine because there's a few injuries, but once everybody comes back, try and nail down that number 9 position, which is an issue. And it's, Newcastle always have good number 9s. I'm not just talking about this great centre forward next to me. In the past and in the future, they need a number 9. They need a focal point, and it's something that needs sorting out.
Could have made the difference tonight. Eddie Howe saying they went toe-to-toe with Manchester City, and yet City held on for the 3 points. They saw the game out. That's game management. That's the difference, isn't it? They know how to do that.
And City went to their bench and put on Foden and Cherky and Kusanov when they wanted pace. Their bench was really good, experienced, full of internationals, no problem City. When Newcastle went to the bench, it was a little tiny bit weaker. So you could see them seeing them out and just almost trying to hit Newcastle on the counter-attack themselves. Saying that, I thought Newcastle held out really well. I thought Dan Burn and Malik Chow were brilliant. I really do. But they've just, they're just going back up north, losing yet again. But they did all they can, but like they are in this game, City have got a bigger squad. The circumstances of midweek, they equipped themselves really, really well, Newcastle, but just fell short. It was fine. They didn't get a beating today. They didn't get hammered. They acquitted themselves really, really well, but it was just one of those things, really, at the end of the game.
Yeah, and their goal at the Etihad was the first they'd scored there in 7. Newcastle and City are going to be sick of the sight of each other by the end of the season. Plenty more games to come.
Yeah, they've got the FA Cup as well, and both teams will be hoping that they might have a chance of playing each other in the quarterfinals of the Champions League as well, if they manage to get through. But I think Newcastle have been really competitive against Manchester City tonight. They made it really difficult for them, albeit it was a really good night in the end for Manchester City, and that's all that mattered for them.
Yeah, well, we can hear now from Manchester City, their points of view, because we're going to go back to the Etihad, and standing by to speak to us is Marc Guéhi. Marc, great to be chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time. A huge opportunity tonight, a huge result for City. Just give us your take on it and your thoughts on the performance.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. It was a tough game. We know how difficult it is to play against Newcastle and their qualities, their endeavour, their work rate, and also their quality on the ball. So, I think everyone's glad that we got these 3 points, and we can move on to the next game.
How tense was it in the second half? Because we talked about your game management and seeing this result out.
Yeah, we knew second half was always going to be a bit of a sticky one. Second half's always difficult, I think, when their tails are up and they're pushing for another goal. So I think, credit to everyone for keeping their heads and managing the game in different moments.
Marc, hi, it's Alan Shearer. Well done tonight on your performance. Tell us the truth. Are you, as players, in terms of the title race, are you watching Arsenal in midweek and them dropping points and then thinking it's your chance tonight to put pressure on them before they play tomorrow?
Hi, Alan. To be honest, I think everyone's got their own way of, either switching off or watching the game. I personally haven't watched any of their games, to be honest. We're definitely aware of scores as a team going into games. But yeah, I think the most important for us is to focus on ourselves because we can only control what we can control.
Yeah.
Mark, it's Steve McManaman. Congratulations, mate, tonight. Why didn't you join Liverpool? No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. How's your adaptation been into the team? How are you finding all your teammates and playing with your new club?
Hi, Steve. Honestly, I was dreading that question, to be honest.
Don't worry. I'm only messing.
But yeah, it's been a great experience so far. Everyone's been super welcoming. I've said in the previous interview that I've had to adapt a lot to the way the manager wants to play and almost change my game completely. His ideas are fantastic, and the thought process behind why he wants to do certain things are really helping me develop as a player. And I just want to learn and be obsessed as much as possible and try and get better. And I couldn't be at a much better place to do this than Manchester City with all these fantastic players. So yeah, very grateful.
Yeah, some of them have been, Mark, in this situation before. It's the first time for you, though. What's it like being involved in this title race? Give us the scoop. What's it like behind the scenes? What's Pep been like? What has he been saying to all of you?
I'll be honest, it's very relaxed from day to day. Obviously, when it's time to train, we train full. We train with the mindset of trying to win every single game and just being focused on our own performances and how we can get better, especially coming towards the end of the season, how we can be fresher, how we can get better and improve our performances. Because, like you've seen today, every minor detail is so important. But yeah, it's been very relaxed from day to day. But when it's go time, it's go time.
A brace for Nico O'Reilly tonight, the first in the Premier League for him. How pleased are you?
Oh, he's been fantastic. I'm so glad he's doing so well. He's a big player for us, so important for us both on and off the ball. I think you guys are seeing his qualities, his goal scoring ability as well that he has, and I'm sure he's going to add a lot more now. So yeah, hopefully he can carry that on, and hopefully the team can as well.
Thanks so much for your time, Mark. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, best of luck, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Julia. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Steve. Cheers.
Thanks. Right, that was Marc Guéhi. We're going to get more post-match reactions from Manchester City. Here is Pep Guardiola.
Pep, it was a high-intensity game, which I knew you were expecting. It looked like it meant a lot there for you at the end. We saw Haaland defending deep to get your team over the line. A big result today.
Massive. It's an incredible team. Newcastle is an incredible, but awesome team. Physicality and the speed that they have in front with Gordon Elanga and after Barnes and all of them. So physicality in the middle. So yeah, really tough, but the team was unbelievable.
You're now 8 unbeaten. You seem to have an ability to get your team winning when it matters most. What's that down to?
No, it's not true. We won today. We draw against the Spurs not far away, so step at a time.
You're as familiar as anyone about this part of the season, the talk that will come. It's now 2 points to Arsenal. They need to come here. Do you feel as equipped as ever with the group that you've got to face that battle and go into a good title race?
70% of the players never play in that situation, and I don't play. So we have to live it, and we know that every game until the end of the season will be like this. And especially at home, with the 5 games left at home, today we had the best crowd of the year. It was unbelievable, our people. And I'm really, really proud to be manager of these incredible people, fans, and so on. And we'll be, now is rest 3 days that we need it, and proper Leeds.
Pep Guardiola already looking forward to what's to come, and their next challenge is Leeds. They can rest a few days. Arsenal still have to face Tottenham. That comes tomorrow. It's a huge one for them. Macca, then Chelsea to come as well. Just looking at those fixtures to come in the title race, who has it tougher? Are they all tough?
Well, if you look at those particular games that we can see, when you look at Manchester City, Leeds, Nottingham Forest, the FA Cup, West Ham, and then Arsenal, you'd certainly, and you've got, of course, you'd certainly think it was Manchester. I mean, there's a couple of FA Cup and League games in there, as EFL Cup game as well. You'd certainly think when you look at those games, Tottenham and Chelsea for Arsenal are more difficult than the fourth that Manchester City would have. But of course, there's 11 games left, and as Al said, they're going to drop points. Both of them will drop points because they're not as dominating as they once were in the past, Manchester City. And either at Arsenal, the competition's closer, so it won't just be when they meet at the Etihad in April, they'll drop more points than that, the pair of them.
Well, there is big pressure certainly on Arsenal tomorrow because City have done the job. They play their bitter rivals, and you know it could still be 2 points come the end of tomorrow. Yeah,
it's we're going to be seeing this so much in between now and the end of the season. Well, City have done their job, or Arsenal have done their job. It's now over to Manchester City. I've been in this position myself. I know it's more difficult for Arsenal because they have to win it, and because of they were there. So, yeah, pressure on them tomorrow.
Certainly is. We will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.